Tempted. I was tempted. Tempted by your smile. I was tempted. And for a little while.
Welcome to my 3-month review of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. This latest iPhone has generated quite a bit of discussion in the tech community, with particularly notable amount of criticism coming from longtime Apple users and enthusiasts. Many have questioned whether this new iteration brings enough meaningful improvements to justify an upgrade, while others have debated the value proposition of its features. In this video, I want to share my detailed experience using it day to day and explain my own initial skepticism about this release. I'll be completely transparent about why I wasn't particularly excited when it was first announced. And more importantly, I'll tell you whether my initial hesitation was justified or if the phone managed to change my perspective after 3 months of real-world use. Me and Alex, along with some other friends, drove 6 hours north of Toronto to capture some early winter content. We're staying in this really inspiring cabin, creating, having a Nerf war, and just enjoying the vibes. This video was super fun to make. Enjoy the episode. Last year, when the iPhone 15 series, the predecessor of the 16 series, was launched, I was really excited for the future. It offered so much. And after a year of enjoying the 15 Pro and pushing it to its full creative capacity, I upgraded to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Through countless photos, videos, daily interactions, this device has become a big part of my creative flow and personal life. Now, while being very neutral about the 16 series during the Apple event and at pre-release, I got more excited as the launch day came by. I was actually excited to pick up this new device that would give me a bigger display, potentially a better battery life, and an interesting camera control function, and more on the camera control button later. So I ordered my iPhone 16 Pro Max in the natural titanium color and with a storage capacity of 256 gigs. It has been a whole 3 months. While I did not travel and put the 16 Pro Max through different weather conditions or use in extreme busy on-the-go scenarios, I still use this device as my daily smartphone through this time. And let me just catch you up on the full story. First week of using the device was fun. The bigger display actually made a difference coming from a 15 Pro. I do like the audio mix feature at this point, and I'm trying to figure out how the camera control function works. Month 1. I got used to the 6.9-inch display. At this point, I don't appreciate the size as much as my first week. But at this point, I'm appreciating the battery life of the 16 Pro Max. I have not been using the audio mix at all because I can easily do the audio post-processing in Final Cut anyways. And I'm still trying to get used to the camera control function. Month 2. I gave up on the camera control function. And I'm hoping for an update that would allow us to link that button to something else, like anything. I'd rather open the calculator app using this button. Battery life is great, and I'm appreciating the sensor of the ultra wide lens. And now to month 3. So when we talk about the upgrade from the 15 models, and specifically 15 Pro versus 16 Pro models, we can see that the upgrades have been very incremental. The only thing that I've personally been excited about when it comes to upgrading, it really is the promised better battery life. In my experience with battery life, it has improved. But we have to keep in mind, I'm coming from a 15 Pro model, which is a smaller device compared to the 16 Pro Max. So, watching the Apple event, there was nothing too exciting about the 16 models. Now, there were 2 things that was introduced with the 16 models, and that was the camera control and the device generally very performance focused because of Apple Intelligence. The one upgrade on the 16 Pro series was the camera control. which would allow you to take more control of camera features like zoom, aperture, and it's almost supposed to simulate a real camera feeling. And by almost, I mean not even close. It's not easy to use, which I've said this before, but it's not like Apple. You know, living in Canada, a winter season day out, I don't see myself fiddling around with a touch camera control in order to dial those perfect settings. It's easier just to touch the screen. I mean, wasn't that the brand strategy of Apple, making devices that are easy to use? And there is one setting that should be on the camera settings menu that only appears in the camera control menu. That is the aperture option. For the iPhone's case, it's called the depth. Like, this is what I mean. Even the term is simplified to make it easier for consumers. It's supposed to be catered towards everyone that has access to this phone. So I'm not sure why Apple is still letting us fiddle through this feature. And I think you can tell by now, this is my least favorite feature on the 16 series. The second upgrade that seemed massive was the A18 chip that was designed with Apple Intelligence in mind. We were also told that Apple Intelligence features would sprinkle throughout the year. And as for the 3 months, these are some of the Apple Intelligence features that stand out when it actually works. Here's what I mean. I sometimes run into this issue where Apple Intelligence does not work, and I have the official iOS 18.2 version. I'm not even on beta, but from time to time, all the Apple Intelligence features just disappear from the phone. The menu is there, but you have to restart your phone a few times to get it back to working. Imagine waiting 3 extra months to get a feature that was marketed with the phone. Like, wasn't the phone built for Apple Intelligence? Of course, with any new release, there will be bugs. That's fine. But this isn't a simple bug. The whole product is not there. It's a big disappointment, but for the sake of this video, let's just talk about the times that it actually works. There's the unique group notifications feature. This is actually a feature that I really appreciate. I try to minimize my time on my phone, so any improvement that helps me look at my phone a little less is highly appreciated by me. In my experience, it has been doing a good job grouping things accurately, and summaries are actually accurate as well. I know some people are seeing some funny summaries, but it's not the case with me. I actually really like this feature. And then we have the visual intelligence mode. That is kind of just straightforward. There's nothing really unique about it. And lastly, this is something that has been pretty trendy, especially with some of the AI features releasing from last year's devices from other companies. And I feel like this here is nowhere close to being done. And yes, I'm talking about the object removal from photos. I did try it out with the beta version and now the fully released version. It does a pretty good job detecting objects, but the cleaning part is the problem. The way I'm seeing it is that it more so does not analyze the scene very well. In my experiment here with this specific photo, I can see that generative AI in Photoshop performs a lot better. Even though this photo is a little complicated to clean up, I think phone AI cleaning tool still has a long way to go. Let's dive into the physical features of the 16 Pro Max. Like I mentioned, I have the natural titanium, and the Grade 5 titanium body is awesome. It is durable, but keep in mind, I do keep my devices cased. I've dropped it a few times with no damage to the body. The device itself is 227 grams, and one of the biggest reasons as to why I got the Pro Max, other than the extended battery, is the large display. And the display is actually 91.4% screen to body ratio. Overall, the build quality of the body is spectacular. What's not spectacular about the body is the reachability of the screen. Because the phone is so cornered, it is difficult to handle. And the phone itself is not so comfortable to use one-handed. And the one-handed mode, or the reachability as Apple calls it, has to be revamped in my opinion. You're basically using 50% of the system interface before it just resets itself. Like, how do you go back home without exiting reachability mode? This mode is odd. The S24 Ultra has a fantastic one-handed mode, which I covered in my past videos. With a large device like this, we need proper reachability features. It honestly can't be very difficult to develop, and it would take away consumer irritation towards the device. With that, let's move to the 6.9-inch display of the 16 Pro Max. It features a brilliant looking Super Retina XDR OLED display with a peak HDR brightness of 2000 nits outdoors and 1600 nits peak HDI brightness. For typical use, it has a maximum brightness of 1000 nits. Since we have not seen a summer season with the device, I can't speak much about how visible it is under harsh sunlight, but it is very comfortable under normal levels of sunlight on an average bright day. And the optional 1 nit brightness is awesome for nighttime use. The display color profile is actually something that is very important to me. It supports P3 wide color gamut. This is one of the things that I really like about Apple. They're very consistent about color accuracy. I do not game on my phone, but I use the display to watch content quite a bit. It's just easy and bright enough to just set up quickly and start watching podcasts or just catch up on some soccer highlights. When looking into the spec sheet of a smartphone, the first thing I pay attention to is the camera quality. It's not the megapixel count or the AI features with a camera. I solely look at sensor quality. I capture photos and test sensor depth in edits, and I often capture videos through on-the-go scenarios. If, for example, there's a vlog element in my videos, they're often captured with the 16 Pro Max. Because it's just a phone, it's more socially acceptable. And despite the amount of things I dislike about this device, I like the camera. It's the only aspect that kept me with iPhone as my primary device in 2024. So this is my 3 months with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. At release, I was skeptic about lack of newness, and 3 months later, I can say that I'm genuinely bored of the device. It's a large device with a beautiful screen, but it has the worst one-handed mode in the market. It's the best chip Apple has come up with, but it's full of performance issues. AI was a big thing, and it came out 3 months later, but it just lacks innovation. On a positive note, I'll mention that battery life has been very good with this device, and that is as of month 3. There is one department that this device is still in front of competition for my needs, and that is the video mode and specifically ProRes log format. And we'll see if Apple will lose that race in the next few months. Thank you for watching my 3 months review of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. This video and this adventure was super fun. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure. I'll see you in the next one.
But now the only flowers are flowers that I've been laying down on your grave. Still can't let you